o'clock. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Gilliam County Court, the first of 2025. The meeting is called to order. We've established the quorum and we'll now have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kick your knee.
Correspondence and public comment. Let's actually, is there any additions or revisions to the agenda? Cover that first. No?
I don't have any.
So what, I have a question though, was the road use agreement, did we not approve that in the last meeting?
Yes, this is a map only change.
Okay,
Yes, this is just a map change.
okay.
Correspondence and public comment. The first person on the list of who signed in, Catherine Graham.
Shannon's with me.
Okay, come on up
We're
together.
a pair.
You can just pull another chair over.
So I actually have two things, and one is with Shannon and I, and the other is about the community. So. Here we go.
Start.
I'm gonna let Shannon, because she's been at this topic longer than I have.
So.
Would you give your name for people who are just highlighting?
Sure, Shannon Kovic. So and I'm also the executive secretary for the South Gilliam County Rural Fire Protection District, which means that I do the bookkeeping. So about 3 years ago, I noticed that we had a reduction in our taxes because of an appeal that PP&E was doing.
Pacific Power.
Yeah, Pacific Power. And it came to my attention because I know that we do not have any Pacific Power in our taxing district, nothing. It's all in the north end of the county. And I came in at that point in time and talked to Chet and said, hey, what's going on? And it's like, well, we have to do this because when taxes go in, they go into one big pool, and then we have to do a deduction from everybody so it doesn't hurt specific taxing districts in particular. It is spread out all over the whole county. Here's the thing that is happening with us right now. So I'm going to move forward with this. So last year we had $3,100 taken out of our account. This year it's approximately the same amount. The first year was $1,600 and about $50. We, on average, for South Gilliam County Rural Fire Protection District, we're getting about $50,000 in taxes. Last year, we got $47,000, I'm rounding. This year, our distribution to date has been $41,000. This money that is coming out of these small districts on this end that receive no benefit from the taxes that are paid into the north end really get hurt with this. As an example, right now, that's about 7% of our budget that is coming out. Right now, we have a bill for our insurance, which I know is a separate thing, but you have to understand how much this affects these small districts. The bill for our insurance for this year is $19,000. So when you look at our insurance, which is half of our taxes that we're receiving, or approximately, and then you think about the fact that we're getting another $3,000 taken out of our budget, that's a big amount. And when you look at what's going into the north end districts, North Gilliam County Rural Fire is getting $400 and some thousand in taxes this year. And they have, what, $35,000 that's coming out? They're not even gonna notice $35,000. Whereas for the small districts on this end, it makes a huge difference. I think we need to have some way to be able to fix this so that it isn't hurting the small districts, and the districts that have for years been getting huge chunks of money. The North Gilliam Health District is getting $800 and some thousand a year. The South Gilliam Health District, I think this year is getting $135,000. Those are huge variances. And there needs to be some way that this can help so that these small districts aren't injured by what's happening with this. And I realized, and Catherine and I met with Chet and Kelly, and they said, well, this is just the law and this is the way that it's supposed to be done statewide. And we in particular are more affected by it because we have so much of our income coming from these power companies. But still, there needs to be some way that we can reconcile this.
So before too, I'm Catherine Griner, I'm the city administrator of the city of Condon. So to Shannon's point, Shannon's been at this longer because the first year it was a very small amount. I think it was about 9,000 out of, we get about $275,000 in taxes. We're up to probably about $290,000 to $300,000 in taxes. So it started taking 20K out. So that's when my ears perked up. It was like, this is what we're doing. So to Shannon's point is what's happening is that the appeals coming in from PGE, right?
Pacific Power.
Pacific Power.
Yeah.
And now from Avangrid.
Valued by Department of Revenue, not our assessor.
Correct.
That's another layer of.
So what's happening is that, according to Chet and Kelly, is that, of course, there's an ORS that we have a distribution schedule. So we don't get any taxes from those two entities. Any city of Arlington is included in that. So city of Arlington and all the south end taxing districts. And let me say, we're not begrudging anyone of what their taxes are getting.
Right.
What we're saying is that if we're never going to get those taxes in the first place, but yet we are having to withhold some of ours due to this distribution schedule that's in the ORS. So what we are wondering, what we have talked to Chet about was, when is this appeal going to be completed? There are no timelines on the appeal. So keep that in the back of your mind. The other thing too is Chet said that they would make us whole when that's done. Well, in the meantime, we're not collecting interest on that money. So over the next, he threw out a 15-year appeal process that was happening with Comcast on the west side of the mountain. If we actually go 15,000 a year and we're now up to 20,000, we're talking about, we're going to lose $72,000 in interest based on 3% interest annually. If that money every year over a 15-year period.
Over 15 years, yeah. Right.
So, and if the county loses the appeal to this, the interest goes to the company that gets the money back. And if the county wins the appeal, then what happens is that we may get the interest back on it, but they don't have a real way that they're going to make us whole yet. And in the meantime, again, we're going to lose out on all this interest of keeping the money for projects. So I think there's three options of what we can.
So I have a couple questions. So how long has the PPE one been going on?
It looks like from 2022.
They said 4 years when we talked to them. They said the first year it was something that wasn't kind of in the forefront, but it's happened now for 3 years on our taxes. So
And then Avangrid just started theirs?
I think maybe they started last year, because when I went back and looked, we had withheld from our taxes $1,646, which again is not a huge amount if you're getting $400,000 in taxes. But when you're getting $40,000 in taxes, it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was 3107. So that tells me that in the taxes that we got last year, that doubled. And they said that it was going to double when that happened. And so to me, that started with the taxes that we received like in December of last year is when that dollar amount was there.
Well, and I'm not sure because Chet and Kelly sent me multiple pages. And so I went ahead and put them all in an Excel spreadsheet. 800,000 has been coming out as they're holding it back each year. And that was even in the year that we had a small amount
Right.
taken out of. And the county looks like they paid the majority, 66% of that 800,000 that first year.
Catherine, was that just Pacific Power?
I
was that-
don't know
was
for
that-
sure.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm just new to all of this too.
okay.
And we would need the assessor to help us with the details of some of this too.
Yes, so when we met with Chet and Kelly, they said it's beyond our control, it's the Department of Revenue. it's an issue. But what I think needs to happen, and after talking with Shannon and them, is there's a couple options that I think we need to do, is this distribution list. So they gave me the ORSs. I have not delved into them. I've talked to League of Oregon Cities. I've actually reached out to AOC because I'm on a board with Gina, the head, and I just thought they would probably know the tax situation better than me. I have not heard back from them yet. The thing is, the distribution list, I get it. Okay, I didn't understand that's how they distribute taxes, but I get it. So they do a whole distribution list. When my payment comes in, instead of 500 going to the school and 500 to the county, they take it, my payment, and distribute it over all the taxing districts based on what taxes they're supposed to get. I get that. So they're doing that also too for the potential refund credit. And that's why we're getting hit with this same amount. So I look to say is, okay, the distribution list is required by ORS, but it has to be approved by the county. My question is to them, which is not necessarily clear in the ORSs, and I'm, again, not an expert on this, is why can't we have two distribution lists? One would be a distribution list that would be for when taxes come in. The other would be a distribution list to a potential refund. And frankly, the way I looked at it again this morning, it might need to be a legislative change because it just says, it points back on the refund credit, it points back to the distribution list. And it says you can make changes, but it doesn't necessarily, and then it also says the distribution of the taxes collected. And then, anyway, it's confusing that I almost think that you might need a legislative change so you can have two distribution lists. Because the bottom line is it's in the long run, when this is completed, whenever it's completed, is the county's gonna have to make us whole again, and the taxes are gonna have to come from those districts anyway.
Now, I guess I don't understand what that, this is a conversation that Catherine and I had yesterday. And Chet had said this too, is like, when this is all over, you're gonna get your money that's been withheld. Well, if we're gonna get our money that's been withheld, why withhold it in the first place? And when we looked at that yesterday, it was like about $120,000 out of the 800 and some $1,000 that is being withheld. The North End districts that are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars are probably not even gonna feel if that was divided among those districts. And again, it may be something to do with the law, but I really think it needs to be looked at because it is hurting the small districts that don't have the resources that those North End districts have. And I understand when the whole SIP thing came into being and people were saying, well, we're gonna spread this money that's coming into your taxing district across the county. That isn't the way it works anywhere. I totally get that. From where I came from, there were taxing districts that had Boise Cascade and whatever in it. And that didn't get spread to every taxing district in the county. It went to the taxing district where those businesses were located. So I totally understand that piece of it. But this now is taking money from us that we never got in the first place.
So, and to Shannon's point too, on this spreadsheet, I went ahead and of the potential refund credit. And to this year, of that 871,000, 118,000 is taken out of our districts. That's it. 2.7 million is going to the county.
You said that was just the two on this end?
No, that's
Yes.
all of our,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
includes the city of Arlington,
Okay.
because they don't get the money either.
That would
I
be
thought you were
City of
just talking
Arlington,
here too.
And I can send this to you.
Yeah,
if
let me hear it.
makes any sense.
City of Arlington, the South Cemetery District, South Health District, South Fire District, City of Condon.
Lone Rock?
Probably Lone Rock too.
Yeah, I didn't.
I met with Senator-elect Todd Nash yesterday and mentioned this and showed him your example. You know, legislatively, that may be the answer. I think we do need the assessor in the assessor's office here to explain to us their interpretation of the law and, you know, so that we have the full picture of this as well. So I just want to let you know that I'm going to AOC, we're going to County and College this week. We can talk to them at that point in time.
I
So-
think there's three fixes or three ways to attack this. I think one is we need to talk to, Chet told us he can't do anything unless we talk to the Department of Revenue. I think we need to talk to the Department of Revenue. And so either through our, to Senator Nash or Representative Smith, or, I mean, they're in the minority this year. I think we need to make some friends with someone on the appropriation committee and someone in the revenue spots that we can also have some say. The other thing is, I think we need to get a strong coalition of not just the taxing districts here, but AOC, LOC, special districts, SDAO, and then we must lobby for changes in this. And I think we need to figure out what those changes are, whether it's 2 distribution schedules. The biggest thing I think we need to lobby the Department of Revenue is right now the appeal process is open-ended. They could go on for 15 years. I think we need to have, you know what, you get 5 years to appeal this. You know, and that's even being generous. You get 5 years to appeal it. But it's my understanding, and I wish Chad was here, I know he's at a conference, is that I think they're appealing every year, is my understanding.
Yes.
So it's not just 1 year of taxes that they're holding back. They're appealing every year. So my third thing is that it appears that Avangrid has come off the SIP, and they appealed the first year they came off the SIP. I've also done a little bit, very minuscule research on the SIPs. Is my understanding anything can be negotiated in the SIP. So I guess if that's true, I'm putting it back on the county. If anything can be negotiated, I think that if you're going to appeal, if you're going to get 15 years of tax break in Gilliam County and get a honey of a deal on taxes, 16 through 30 years, you can appeal. I don't know if that's legal. I have no idea, but it's sure worth looking at to make sure that the future SIP agreements do not allow them to appeal the year to come, because they know what taxes. They know what long taxes are that
Okay.
16th year.
I understand your situation.
Yeah, and I'm also going down to Salem for League of Oregon City Hall Day, and I have an appointment already. I've reached out to Senator Nash. I've reached out to some of the other, Greg Smith, I already have an appointment with. So if we can get part of our coalition, if you get some AOC people that I can also meet when I'm down there, I would love to. I'm also trying to set up an appointment with the Department of Revenue via LLC.
Okay.
So let me know what we can do.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Marie.
Okay.
Anything else?
I've got the pool.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
All right.
She's got the.
Okay, so cool.
Sorry.
Very short. So I just wanted you guys to know that I was coming back to you about the Condon Community Swimming Pool. So the report came back. It's not good. We need to learn to do it. The pool is basically beyond repair. I mean, if we wanted to repair it, it would be about $2 million if we wanted, and that's not even including the ADA upgrades or anything that we would have to do, or it's not including repairs to the bathhouse, getting an ADA ramp to the pool or ADA parking to the pool. So the council has got the report, and their original discussion was new to go for a new pool. But when we want to go for a new pool, the council is going to talk more about some costs at our retreat next Friday, which you're more than welcome to attend. It's at 1 o'clock at City Hall. We do a goals and priorities session every year.
What day?
Friday, the 17th at 1 p.m. If you want to come for lunch, let me know.
Okay.
Because we'll meet at like, we'll have lunch at 12:30. Yeah, oh, you guys got so we want to make sure there is enough community support before we go through this process. So what our plan is right now is to piece duct tape the pool together for at least 2025. We have an agreement with the county for up to $70,000 to reimburse us for operating costs every year. And I think we've got 2 more years on it, maybe 1 or 2 more years. What I would like to do is, if we get community meetings, so let me go back. I'm working with a company that's going to get us a master plan, basically a very simple rendering of what it's going to look like and some ballpark costs of what it's going to be like. Behind the grade school is the perfect spot. When the city takes that property back over, the old grade school back over again, that's the perfect spot for it. But I think it's important that we need to know how important this is to the community for your sake and for our sake.
So when we're doing our town halls, one of the topics is livability, community beautification, and recreation. So hopefully we can cover that as well
Okay.
during those, a bit.
Yeah, and also too, some of it was brought up in our condom can visioning, and I'm doing a short presentation and I'm shoring up my presentation as we speak and I'll get it to Anya
Mhm.
here within the next day or two. So I mean, what we're looking at is, I'm not overly concerned on how to build it. I guess I might be overconfident in that regards, between grants and
And that's
community
why a new
partners.
location, why a new location and not the existing location? Just,
Handicap accessibility.
okay.
I mean, if we put it in the existing one, it doesn't belong to us or you, it's the school district, they don't want to be a partner. Two is that is probably one of the worst spots we could have a pool is right in that rock bluff that it's at.
Hill.
That is school district property?
Yes,
I thought, okay, I thought.
They still own the pool.
Okay, I thought the city did.
No.
Okay,
No,
all right.
we don't. So it would go to a new location. I mean, the most logical is back there if we're keeping it, if we keep the play shed. Again, I'm not too concerned about, I think we could build it, but I don't want to build it if we don't have community support. So I think it would have to go out for like a bond just to see how supportive people are. I mean, it's one thing to say, yeah, we want a pool. It's another thing to pony up, what it's going to cost to do it. The thing I'm asking for the county is if we decide to move forward and the community is all in, I need a long-term commitment on operational costs. Anywhere from 70 to 100,000 a year for probably 10 to 20 years, I would think. Because the city took this on as a partnership with the school district and the county. We charge you guys back up to 70,000 per year for operational. That doesn't include my public works time for going down and helping, doesn't include my city staff time, doesn't include my time for budgeting, payroll, accounts payable, any of that. It's just basically for the lifeguards and the supplies and everything to run the pool. So I just want to make sure you guys know that this is what's coming up. At the council retreat, we're going to have a short discussion about what it's going to cost to Band-Aid it, to duct tape it together for another year, and then how we're going to go about public outreach to figure out what the steps forward are.
Okay.
So I am supposed to get by next month, I met with the pool people yesterday, I'll get a ballpark of what that's going to cost.
Thank you.
I took up a lot of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll keep in contact with each other.
Okay, yeah, let me know,
Town hall.
let me know if there's anything I need to take down with me when I go at the end of the month.
Also with our town halls, we're going to have a public, written comment session, which will be open through February 14th, I believe.
Okay,
So people will be able to comment in writing as well as just not there that meeting. So
okay, yeah.
It'll get them thinking and have time.
And on our retreat too, the agendas will be out this Friday, so, you can sign up for our agendas on that and whatever, but you're more than welcome to come. Love to have you.
Thank you. Annabelle Quinn O'Neill, come on up. And is John Burnett going to speak separately?
Yeah,
You'll wait.
Oh, good morning, Commissioner Wilkins and Commissioner Watkins. I'm Annabelle Quinn O'Neill. Saw you last month. Hope you had a great holiday. I'm here from Cordelio Power. We're working on that application that we have with y'all for the county road right of way. I just wanted to follow up because as you know, we did talk with the developer from EDPR who is also pursuing a project in the county. And I just wanted to clarify and kind of stress the importance of our application and that we are talking to EDPR. They are talking with us about pursuing an agreement with us. And as of right now, we are not committing to signing something with them, but we're talking with them. We need to know more about their plans and our plans before we agree to something. That said, though, our application is just between the county and us for use exclusively within the county right of way. So as I said last time, we don't have a hard and fast deadline where we need to build this by X date for something if that was approved. However, it is really important that, a decision is made soon, and even if it was an approval with conditions, we want to work with you, but also as time passes over the next few months, our options for how to interconnect to the grid become slimmer and more expensive, and this project will lie in South Gilliam County. There are multiple opportunities for us to fund and donate to special projects within the county. So I just wanted to come and be really honest with you that we submitted our application, followed due process just to apply for this county right of way. The nature of our application will not injure existing or new utilities, other developers. We're literally putting up poles and hanging wires, and it's up to county jurisdiction separately to determine if other developers can also do that within our area. So it's a very standard application, and we just wanted to make sure that, our communications with other developers don't cloud the decision at hand, which is simply our use of the road right of way. So,
So, the application is under legal review, so that's part of the issue. We need to make sure that Gilliam County has received the legal advice it needs to receive to make a good, solid, well thought out decision too. So just want to make sure you understood that piece as well, if we hadn't communicated that.
totally.
And with the holidays, I think staffing, that law office was maybe.
Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
who is the EDPR? Is that the,
They are another development company that is pursuing a project. I believe it's just wind. I don't know if they're doing other technologies with it. And they're kind of building a big project from the north to the south.
Mhm.
So our projects kind of butt against each other,
okay,
but there's no conflict between us about this. It's just they heard about our application, and I think they kind of wanted to be sure we both knew what each other was doing. And I think that they may have mentioned to you that once we get an agreement, then maybe you could consider our application. But I want to be really clear that we're not necessarily going to sign an agreement to cooperate or develop in tandem with another company. That takes time to think through, and we're not coming from any bias. We just need more time to understand what they want, what we need to work together. But just wanted to keep it really distilled and clear right now, after we talked with them over the holidays, that our application is still in just for use of the county road right of way. So,
All right, I just had never mind. I went there and she changed her mind. Okay, yeah, just wanted to let you know that, just doing our due diligence for the people of Gilliam County to make sure that, that we're making a solid decision. We think this through. Very little data for us on use of a right of way that isn't a outright utility company. So that's part of it that we're just doing some research on.
and do you mean it's just new to have not a fiber or a phone line?
Right,
It's a
exactly.
new
That's what I'm
technology.
talking about.
Okay,
Mhm,
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just, we're doing that outreach and hope to have something back from them soon. We'll just keep you updated. Okay?
Thank you.
And then you're gonna update us about your talks with EDPR.
Yeah, we'll go through Anya and keep
Okay,
you posted.
great.
What are you gonna say?
I just want to clarify that, I think I asked you last meeting you were here, there's none of these projects possibly are not permitted that could use this right away,
what do you
right?
mean?
Like any new projects that would
do we
tie
have
into this.
permit?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you ask it another way?
Well, I mean, like if there's a renewable project that's gonna use this line that you want to put in, none of the, is there, nothing's been permitted, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where they're at or other developers with their permitting,
Okay.
but we have not started the permitting process. We're
Okay, all right.
preparing for that soon because
Yeah.
it takes a long time, which is
Right.
totally okay. But the right of way jurisdiction is purely on
Right.
your county, so.
Right, yeah, my only
That's
concern was
permit.
make sure that
Yeah.
the landowners didn't have any
Mhm.
you know,
Oh, yeah, everyone will be well notified
Yeah,
in
okay.
advance of that, so, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Barnett.
That pretty much
That covers
covers
it.
everything.
Okay.
Although, when do you expect to hear back from your
I
council?
expect, I want to go back to the email from Marissa Johnson, because there's two things at play. One is hearing back from legal counsel, and second, you two, companies, whether or not you've completed your talks on the potential agreement. Which, as you said, doesn't necessarily affect this, but since it was brought up, it might be good to be sure that there's no issues there, or if there are, that they're resolved. And it said, let's see, I was looking to see if there was a date suggested. I am sure by the first meeting in February, we should have something from our, legal counsel. Before that, I'm sure, so that we can communicate about what those, comments are at that point,
Who
so.
is your legal counsel?
Jeremy Green,
Who?
Jeremy Green,
Okay.
yes, Ben. Loveland Bryant Jarvis. Brian Loveland Jarvis. Okay, so thank you very much. Thanks for coming and keeping communication. I appreciate that. All right, that's all you have to say, Mr. Barnett?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, do we have anyone online who has comments? Okay. Anybody else in the audience? Update from county maintenance. Darryl, Houghtelling.
Morning.
This is my maintenance staff report. I'm Darryl Houghtelling, Facilities Director. It's been a while since I've been here. The Building and Maintenance Department has been busy this year focusing on the needs of 5 main areas of the county. The courthouse and grounds, which the boilers had maintenance and calibration performed on it. We've been winterizing the loop system and cooling tower, and 2 trees were trimmed recently. But I wanted the county court to understand that we're not asking for money for this right now, but just to think for the future, future considerations to budget for the window replacement. We've said this for quite a few years now. Window replacement for the entire external of the courthouse to replace with energy efficient and leak proof ones. These ones leaked during heavy rainstorms and just not very energy efficient. They were put in about 30 years ago, from what we can understand.
You're talking all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of windows.
Yeah.
So I did have a company from Ben, that, is interested in giving me at least just some sort of an estimate cost analysis for that. And I just recently talked to them. So we have some kind of a ballpark. I have no idea. Everything seems to cost more than, a lot more than what I ever can ever estimate. Also the heat pumps, our system here is almost 30 years old. It's an excessive amount of money. It feels like I'm spending about 50,000 average a year just to keep up or buy new units. We have 33 heat pump units in the courthouse and 3 split systems, where the 3 split systems are basically almost maintenance free. They do fine. But the ones that are on our loop, we have to take care of the cooling tower, the boiler, yearly maintenance, replacements for the heaters that they don't seem to last as long as they used to. And they used to be 3,000 when I started this job. Now they're up to between 10 and 15,000 for each individual unit. We have 33 of those. And the water loop treatments, I've been trying to keep the system by flushing it and adding chemical, and they're still having a hard time. So we need to think about changing the whole system eventually to where it's just get rid of the cooling tower, get rid of the boiler, all of the piping, and just do the split system. So what it would look like would be like 4 big ones on the concrete roof, and then probably like 6 to 8 units around the building. And you'd have to do the venting. It wouldn't be cheap, but in the long run, I think it would, especially if we do the windows and stuff, it's something to think about in the future, because it costs us a lot of money to keep this one going. Just So you have that on your mind. And the other thing is concrete's starting to crack in various areas around the block a little, and the front stairs, we're gonna have to address that in the next couple of years. Probably don't have to do the whole project over, but we're gonna have to have somebody come in and redo this, probably the front main stairs and some areas of the sidewalk. Burns Park, we had new flooring installed in the restrooms and fresh paint this year. Various pine trees were trimmed for damage and provided better access to camping areas, so don't hit people's campers. The road department asphalted the main road that loops through the park. And we had a real heavy usage this year due to the fire season, but we made it through it just fine. A future consideration for the park is an additional asphalt road on the east side of the park, which is technically on not Burns Park, but even though it is Burns Park, it belongs to the fairgrounds there. And an idea that a lot of people have been asking me about, and the judge, is about a new pavilion possibly that's close to birds and weather to replace the old one. This one, it's just like being outside, and then it gets so dirty and on the weekends, and just an idea. Kind of replaced a lot of things in the park the last 20 years here and there, but that's one thing that would be pretty costly. So I would like to see that done at some point. I think the community, it doesn't get a lot of usage other than the summer and early fall, but it's hard to have events in there sometimes. The industrial park, the water sampling has been clean and clear of coliforms all year. The weeding and general maintenance is being performed, and we replaced a leaking door jamb and door at Arden Mills along with window sills over by the dock area there. And we're still waiting for the lease to run out on the old wheat lab, and just awaiting new ideas for the building afterwards. I think that's in a year.
Of
Yeah.
25. We're working on that with legal counsel
Okay,
because of the
yeah.
federal grant.
The water tower inspection will be performed this year or next by scuba divers to assess the condition of our tower and if we need new iodes or not. I do that every 5 years, so it's coming up, just so you know. The library, we're cleaning weekly. Windows are cleaned twice a year. The exterior of the library was repainted, same color due to excessive peeling, and top of the library had repairs to it. Future considerations is well, this isn't a consideration, it's actually getting done. Inside the library is to be painted this next month. New auto doors are being installed with grant money. I don't have a time frame on that. I got them to bid, but I haven't heard anything with Mary. And we're awaiting new landscaping plans or car charger areas so we can address the sidewalk on the south side. We've talked about that through the years. The sidewalk's unsafe, but we can't really do anything until we figure out what we're doing with that area. We do have some extra properties that we have to take care of, or expenses. It's the Arlington, we have a side hill on the north side of the cemetery that we have to spray every year. Condon's small property in flood zone that we mow about twice a year here in town, and Condon property on the south side of town, we have to clean up and had to board up the house. And we'll need to spray and mow and take down a tree now from that ice storm. And but that's basically what we've been doing. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, you can ask me or my department anytime.
Where's that house in Condon?
It's the old Stark house.
Oh, okay.
And
They took it over from taxes.
Mhm.
the process is hopefully going to resolve itself through this legislative session, so that there's a legislative fix to selling foreclosed property. There was a Supreme Court decision that affected the sale of foreclosed property. So this session, hopefully we'll get some direction.
So I guess I need some direction, or to get permission if you want me to pursue a cost analysis of the changing the boiler over to the heat pumps. If you guys think that's a good idea, you want me to try to pursue that this year, or you want me to wait on it?
Well, I'm not prepared to answer that question right now, so we can
Okay.
talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Let me absorb it. Are there any thoughts here that I can?
I think it won't hurt to do some research and check into it. It's not gonna get any cheaper.
No,
I get some estimates like the windows, just to see.
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah, and I am working on that when I went forth with that, because that's,
Mhm.
and they'll come out and
Yeah.
it won't cost us anything. Just doing the research prior to them coming out from bed, but
Maybe just get some numbers, something we could
sure.
look at and do some more comparison.
You
Yeah,
bet.
I'm on board with that.
Okay.
For the heat system and the windows.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right.
Anything else you wanted to ask? Oh, no. Hey, thanks for
Thanks,
coming.
Darryl.
You bet.
So on the agenda, is it every meeting or every other meeting? Every meeting, right? We have a staff report now. So that's what we're trying to do. Right. Frontier Chamber of Commerce Small Business Grant Report for 2023 and 2022. That report in your packets. We do not have, Brittany Dark present here today. She wasn't necessarily this time.
I'm
Oh, she's on-
online.
All right. Is
I'm
there
online. I don't know. Yeah, hi.
anything to ask, Oscar?
I have one. I noticed on there that, there was 3 that were awarded to basically, my understanding, nonprofits. And I don't know, she hear
Yeah, I
me?
can,
Are
yep,
you
I can
able
hear you.
to, hear that, Brittany? Can you respond?
Yeah, so the only one that I was aware of that would be the nonprofit would be the food pantry. What other 2 were you referring to? Do you recall?
Well, anyway, my final question was that, there was 3 nonprofits on the, this. And I thought the other 2 county programs were basically set up for nonprofits. So that was
Right,
my only
right.
concern. But
I don't think that the grant agreement as is currently written, it's very general. So if we wanted to refine the grant agreement, if we're interested, I want to hear what Leah has to say as well about this, or hold this for some more thought. Since we have funding streams and significant funding streams for nonprofits, but we don't have another funding stream for for-profit businesses.
Right.
Should we be narrowing the focus of this, this funding stream for for-profit businesses? The other idea is, could you have a small business development grant program for for-profit businesses and then one for nonprofit businesses? One thing I'd like to know from Brittany is how many for-profit businesses were funded that otherwise would have been, and that may be none. That just makes me wonder if any were turned away because of that we fund all. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah,
Originally, I think this discussion came up before that, that we thought that, that should be for small businesses and not for nonprofits,
Mhm.
because nonprofits can get some of that other funding that
Mm-hmm.
small businesses can't, but
Okay,
so maybe we need to look at the amount we're handing out to the nonprofits, so they're not, because I know these guys keep coming back and asking for more money and ahead and, right, so.
yeah, because the 3 I was looking at, that was about, it's $55,000, but
mm-hmm.
it's,
A simple solution would be to communicate with the chamber and see if we can amend the grant agreement to clarify that this funding stream is for for-profit businesses. And then receive feedback of if there's any concern with that with the nonprofits, if they have any needs they want to address to the county court. How does that sound? And then we could have the chamber come to either this next meeting or the meeting after.
yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Brittany and just
Okay.
visit
She's trying to
Can
talk,
you
she
guys-
doesn't know.
you
She's
guys can't hear
unmuted.
me?
I don't know why it's not working. Okay, we're not
Right now?
taking any action today, Brittany, we're just
Do
discussing.
we have to turn up the board again? That was doing the feedback.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought we muted her.
Hello,
Brittany?
can you hear me now?
Brittany?
Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Yay! So, yes, I was aware of one nonprofit that had been awarded, but I'm not aware of the other two. So, if you want to let me know what other two those are, I can look into them and see what the details were. But yeah, no, I agree. If you want specifics as far as nonprofit versus for-profit, then I think, yeah, it would be appropriate to put in the next grant agreement. However, I brought that information back to our review committee after our last conversation, and said, hey, this is the direction. If there's any nonprofits that come forward in the future, we're referring them back to the county, because there are other avenues that they can be awarded, for those things.
Okay.
And we do have, we received our second installment for this current year's contract, and we do have a handful of applications already for the remaining funds. I know that in previous years, there was additional funding available to award for this. So I just wanted to put a little bug in your ear that if there were additional funds that you wanted to allocate to small businesses or startups or anything like that, we will probably be closing this grant, I would say probably by the beginning of March, if there are no additional funds allocated to it.
I do have a question about the community counseling solutions.
Yes.
Okay. The restoration and renovations.
Yes, my understanding is that it's for a building on Condon's Main Street to get it habitable for them, and they've been undergoing that. I'm in the process right now of checking in with all of our previous grant recipients to get pictures or updates or anything like that to see, if anybody's closed or open. Do you have any specific questions regarding that I can get some answers for?
Afraid to say anything.
Well, you can always email me too if you want, and I would be more than happy to look into, get some additional details on anything.
They may be a nonprofit.
Oh, is that what you mean? Okay, I'll look into that one.
You'll be in today, Brittany.
What's that?
Will you be in today?
I won't. I'll be there tomorrow though.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is, because there's turnover in staff, we had Kaylin, then there was a person between, then there was Brittany. I think it's important that that grant agreement include, the clarification that this funding stream is for profit businesses, and then make sure that they know that if there's any feedback we receive about the nonprofits, if they feel that they've lost a funding stream, that they can approach us.
Well, community counseling solutions are considered a public entity or private?
I think, I don't want to speak for them but I haven't researched it. I think that Community Counseling Solutions, a nonprofit, Summit Springs Village, the Elks Club, the Elks Lodge, are those on this list, and I don't know if that was all of it, but I don't want to be quoted on that because I may be mistaken. We would have to check.
But these are, all of these older ones have already been awarded, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't outside of the grant agreement because it's, there's no specification. So, okay. All right, also, we have Waste Management's November 2024 summaries, which are included. We have any questions on that one?
I know.
Treasurer's financial report for November 2024, some correspondence. Now go into the consent agenda. We have minutes from December 18th, bills pending review. I want to just explain the tentative procedure. You're now seeing the bills pending review in your packets, and they're also online, included in the packet. We're also going to be displayed on the website under a financial page. Eventually, we're taking steps to get there. But we're going to be providing this to you at each meeting, so that you see the bills that have come forth in the prior 2 weeks. So we'll have a rolling 2-week schedule. So we'll begin it, will be the end of the prior month, and then the 14th of the month prior, something like that, we're gonna work on.
First, under the 14th will be for your second meeting,
Mhm.
and the 14th will be for the first.
Right. You also have a road use.
These will be bills you've already approved.
Yes.
To pay.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So any other questions on that one? Don't mean to rush you.
Okay, no,
Also, there's a road use agreement with Juniper Wind Power 2 LLC. That is a map only change. There is a Oregon Health Authority Amendment 13 for financing of public health services. There is an amendment to a blanket purchase agreement between Gilliam County and Greater Oregon Behavioral Health Incorporated. This is an amendment only to the date, extending it for 1 year. And also consider approval of agreements with Oregon Department of Transportation for funding of public transportation. Those are all your items on the consent agenda. Any questions about those items?
I don't have any.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll also move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business other than? I don't have anything to agenda. New business. Consider adoption of resolution R 2025-01, amending the 2024-2025 non-represented salary schedule and job description amendment for assistant roadmaster. This was quite a process. It changed a little bit along the way, but we've arrived at a finalized version of a salary schedule. The job description was virtually unchanged. It should be under 6.1. And your summary in the briefing explains what happened. Our roadmaster has been a part of how this has evolved. It's an overtime exempt position, and the salary schedule is included. What was the job description?
Do we know where he's at on this, where that would put him on regardless of the steps?
Where he's going to lie on the steps?
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's at now.
That was he just fell into the same category, I think, because it was the same. We took the hourly rate of the equipment operator to put it into the assistant roadmaster, so I don't think he's changing, but I don't know what step he's necessarily on.
Okay, without checking.
Okay.
Yeah, she would know. Yeah, let's see, 3.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Potentially, yeah. You could check downstairs if you would like to before.
That's what it all came about with when I got the personnel action form. I had questions about whether it was hourly or salaried, and that was one of the second house. That's really all it was. The intention was written to be a salary.
Yeah. Because he'll have some supervisory.
Well, he's still not. They just moved into that salary.
Oh, right. Okay, all right, thank you.
So we need to adopt this one?
Yeah, so we need a motion to adopt the resolution.
I move to approve resolution 2025-01 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The next item on the agenda is 6.2, consider request for capital investment grant extension on the Marine Center. You both want to come up? Okay.
So we are asking for an extension.
Say who you are. Those are very late. Okay.
I'm resident,
Okay.
chairman of the Common Council City Board.
Thank you.
We are asking for an extension on our grants. We were behind in getting it out to bid. It is scheduled to go out to bid next week. So once that goes out to bid, things should be moving along fairly quickly. Once we get bids in, it's also going to open up several other grant opportunities for us. So
So the bids are going out prior to full funding, and that will be fine.
yes,
Okay.
there's, like I said, several other grant avenues that rely on us having our bids to submit
Okay.
our grants.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually have someone holding our money until we have a contractor, like we've gotten approval on a grant for, it's a small grant. But, so it's just been held up from not having anything started, the ball rolling. And then another hold up, in the request, there was also a request for the additional 700,000 that the county had agreed to for the project. The reason why is because originally the estimate was around 2 million, now it's almost 3 million. And in order to open up grant opportunities from many other places, they like to see that you have 50% already. And even with our fundraisers in our community, we get $200 here and there with our fundraisers. So I don't see that we would be able to raise with our small fundraising another 500,000 in order to open up and unlock those other opportunities.
Can you tell me what the square footage is on the expansion?
Yeah.
I'm just curious about that. I may have missed it in the documentation. If you don't know, we can talk later.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I have the plans here.
Is it only gonna cover the parking lot? I guess we maybe visualize it first.
Sure, it's the parking lot and then back a little bit,
Okay.
towards like where we have our trash can. If you know where that's. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I know some of them, like on the event center, they're requiring us to send a copy of the RFP to the state, depending that, I don't know if that's the case with you guys, but
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, it's business oriented.
which, yeah, that was exactly.
And they did, I think we forwarded on the letter to you that they said we didn't make that first cut, but they encouraged us heavily to apply at their next opportunity, which should be early to 2025. We don't have a date on it yet, but that to me says that that's pretty promising.
Early 2025 is when the application window opens.
Yeah, it should, so any day now, I'm hoping to get some information about that.
And then when would the grant be awarded on the second round? Do you know?
They make the announcements 45 days after the grant closes.
Okay.
Unless there's delays. There was a little delay on this one.
Okay.
But by
Don't
having
worry.
our bids with this grant application, and if we can get that additional 700,000, that's going to bolster our application with Business Oregon quite a bit.
And again, our ultimate goal, if we can unlock that funding from other lenders, then or funders, then we can give back money to the county.
I do want to let you know that I did review the current grant agreement, and there's nothing specific written in that grant agreement that states there's any conditions on the $700,000. So it was a $1.7 million grant. $1 million of that was already released. $700,000 of that was held by Gilliam County, but it doesn't state in the grant agreement at all that there were any conditions on that 700,000. It just essentially said the county court can release that at any time.
Hmm.
But I thought
But it has already been funded.
the 1.7 was basically for the expansion, all right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes, and that's all that it's for.
Yes,
It's for the expansion. So just because you have the money, you can't use it for other purposes.
Correct.
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You explain, and I think it's clear the reason why, one school of thought would be, well, what's the difference in Gilliam County just holding that money till you need it? And you've explained that you're trying to meet the 50% match.
Yeah.
So there's two things that we need to consider, and it's extending the grant and releasing the 700,000. I just want to make sure that you've said everything you want to say and ask any questions you'd like to ask, since we have representatives here. Anything else?
Yeah, no.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
So how
I'm sorry, go ahead.
far ahead do we need to extend it, do you think?
Like a year, another year at least.
Through the end of 25.
I think that would be nice, yeah.
I'd like to know just generally, so what if you don't get the grant funds? What if you don't get any other grant funds? What is your plan B? Do you have a plan B of where we go from here? And maybe you haven't talked about that.
There's always other grant opportunities. There's constantly new ones coming up. Childcare is a national issue right now. So until the other grant sources run out, we're going to keep trying. But if there comes a point where we hit a wall, our board will discuss it and
Okay.
see where we're at.
One point that was made too with this big request we made at the end of last year was because of our population, it's only forget, like the red zone of our need fluctuates really easily with like one child born. It could put us in the red, whereas in other counties, it's maybe 50 to 100 children being born. So in some ways on paper, our need can look like it's not as great one year and then the next year really great.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is we've had that wait list for years. And so I think that's why we didn't get chosen the first time, is that could have been one of the factors too.
One thing I wondered, if Gilliam County can assist by, doing a, childcare needs annual survey. Just
Mhm.
outreach to the community to find out, okay, are you gonna have a baby born in this next year? What are your childcare needs, and find out what the ages are. It's gonna fluctuate and change even within the year, but at least annually we have data
Yeah,
to work with.
well, Condon can,
Countywide.
yeah, the Condon can that Catherine was mentioning, they did a really good job of surveying our entire community about a lot of different things, and childcare was definitely on there. I have a copy of the report too, if you don't already have it, but it kind of goes over what the community felt at the time, the past year, and a lot of it was one, bolstering the reputation and the job for, making it more appealing for childcare workers, and another part of it is more availability. So that's,
But the problem I see with that is you're only surveying the people that live within Gilliam County. And I know just for an example, that they had a PA they were interviewing for the clinic after Danny left. And she had a child that needed childcare, and there wasn't a spot for her, and there wasn't a house for her to live in.
yeah, it all.
So you
we've lost
miss
a lot.
out on those.
Yeah, I think we've lost a lot of people due to housing and childcare and jobs. I mean, it all works together
Yes, it does.
again. So we might have an empty preschool room for a little while, because we'd be tacking on 3 separate rooms, right? So there'd be room for some expansion there too, room for me to hire more people and room for more childcare, which I think is necessary because the building that we had built was already too small.
Well, some of your problem was with the really littles, wasn't it?
That's the biggest problem, yeah. It's the infant toddler room that we've had that wait list. We had people move to Hood River because they waited for 3 years, their children never got in. And they gave up on us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's,
is there a way to fix this immediately somehow? And I'm just brainstorming here, not immediately, but an existing building. Is there a way to,
That's kind of a can of worms.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That have been approached and with licensing and other requirement, it's usually ends up being a big can of worms.
Yeah.
So,
They're already making an exception for us because we're not supposed to have infant and toddlers in the same room. And there's a workaround that's been created for us so that we can do that.
New construction is so expensive, $2.9 million. We all know we could,
Yeah.
elephant in the room, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a expansion.
yes.
Not even a complete new building, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some thought.
My question, do your buildings have to be attached to one another for it to be considered a center, or can they be like a breezeway attaching to a modular?
That's kind of what it will be, actually. Yeah, they're gonna be a hallway that they're building through one of our current rooms, opening up to the next.
But it's not a modular, it's a stick built, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Or,
No.
oh,
So do we need the 700,000 released here quickly so you can get,
Before we submit to the next business organ grant. we
Okay.
get it.
We have at least 3 to 4 other people that we're waiting to apply with. That they just keep telling us, well, when you're at this point, let us
Okay.
know.
so first we need to move to extend it.
yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Commissioner Wilkins?
Oh, well, yeah, well, I'll just say real quick. I was looking for the estimates here that was, and this was presented through August, right? The 24. And I know they're just estimates, but I was just looking at a couple of them and like the fire system, they wanted 40,000. I just seemed really high. And I mean, I'm not telling you guys that because I know you don't know, but it
Yeah,
just,
Jeff's not here, so I
And
don't
then-
know about.
and then we showed 50,000 for landscaping and irrigation. I just, and
That one too.
there's just some of these numbers I
The
just,
incidentals, nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
We're kind of hoping that it comes in lower. I think it is a worst case scenario estimate. But I know enough from just the conversations I've had with Jeff, we're on a really muddy area. And right now they have these like swells that have been created. And so to add on more buildings, it gets a little more complicated, I guess, with that irrigation stuff. And also something with our heating, we have partial propane, partial electric. And we replaced our stove from propane to gas because we had an incident that was scary. We don't want propane in the building with a bunch of littles. And so we're going to switch to full electric that way. Get rid of the propane altogether. So that's an added cost. And then also I think we put a generator in there.
I was gonna ask you about that too.
Yeah, when power goes out, which happens in Condon, and the temperature starts going low, parents have to come pick up their kids and we have to close.
Okay.
And it would be nice if we didn't.
Yeah, I know those are out of your control. I just
Yeah.
was kind of questioning. But yeah,
It's a big number.
Yeah, we all know. Yeah. And hopefully this vision will lead to more affordable childcare for families. That's one of my goals, not just
Yeah.
accessibility and, that's a big part of it. Because families can end up having to make a choice about whether or not one person is even gonna work because childcare is so expensive for them. So we need to make sure that for the people directly affected, it's affordable.
Yeah. And right now we have, 22 children who are receiving free childcare to them because they are Head Start children. So they're paying nothing, which is nice.
Okay. You want to make one
So,
or two motions?
We'll make 2.
Okay, first motion.
So I move to approve to extend the capital investment grant to December 31st, 2025.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
okay, is there any discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve an extension to the capital investment grant for the Condon Early Learning Center to December 31st, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay. And then the second,
I move to release the additional 700,000 of the original grant amount to the Early Learning Center expansion project.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to release the $700,000 for the Condon Early Learning Center Capital Investment Grant Expansion Project. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you
Okay.
for your really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you. Brad, let me know if you want to come by.
I do. I can catch up with you.
Announcements. Is there any other business, first of all, that we missed? No?
I don't know. I would encourage Grant to visit with Jeff, because I think a lot of times Jeff does worst case scenarios just to, so there's not big surprises down the road.
I'd rather be under, come under than
Mhm.
over.
But there is places, I think.
Yeah,
Just
landscaping.
I'm dealing with
There's no
it
room for
that can
landscaping.
be dialed back if they need be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that. All right, so for announcements, go ahead, Commissioner Wilkins first, and then Watkins.
Korea meeting coming up January 10th, this Friday. Excuse me. Of course, Town Hall the 15th up here in Condon. Be attending community college 16th through the 18th.
County College, yeah.
Yes. I visited with Commissioner Watkins about possibly Norcor. There's a meeting January 16th. That I don't know if I'll be able to do it online or not.
Mhm.
So,
Let me know, because I can get on.
okay,
They send me the agenda.
okay. And then the only other thing I had was, I think I left it at my house. Pass on the Norcor. So the October meeting, they were forecasting 40-some thousand, the ending balance. And our last meeting in December, with not filling some of the positions, and they've got other people covering, doing everything they can to keep things maintained, but they were forecasting about 800,000 ending balance as of the end, that was through November. So they're still hoping that we'll be able to get through this, the rest of this budget year for now, so.
So they're just
Sorry, guys.
combining duties.
Yeah, and they are not filling some positions that are vacant, so. But I just wanted to pass that on.
So it's not as gloomy as it looked a month ago.
It was pretty scary
Okay.
a month ago,
All
2
right.
months ago.
2 months ago. Okay.
That's all I have.
I would be interested in finding out if there is other counties that are going through the same thing that our small districts are going through in the South County. Like I don't know, that all those appeals are affecting
Oh.
Sherman County, Morrow County, or any
That's
of
what
those
we need
others
to
that
go to the
have.
assessor, I think. He will have the link to the other assessor's offices, and I think we can maybe have him gather that data.
Cause that's what I would say, if you're gonna go to the legislators and say, hey, it would be better to go as a group.
Mhm. Yeah, and AOC may be able to help us to know who else is affected.
Yeah.
I think it might be a bit of a unique situation in Gilliam County because of the
way the districts are divided.
Mhm. And having such heavy, large industry valued by Department of Revenue.
I don't know, I don't know how their districts are in Morrow County, but they're pretty heavily divided in Morrow County too.
And maybe Sherman's an example as well.
Mhm.
So,
I'd just be interested to find out if they're experience the same thing.
Some big appeals.
yeah.
I'll talk to Chet when he gets back about it.
And I think as these strategic investment programs roll off, especially with the wind, particularly after 15 years of the agreement, now we're starting to see is just the evolution of the whole thing. How it wasn't something we dealt with for the prior 15 years, so. Okay. Our next meeting for county court is January 22nd, 2025, 10 o'clock a.m. from Quist Building, Arlington. We have the town hall meeting this month for Condon. It is January 15th, 6 o'clock p.m. at the Memorial Hall. We'll have one in February as well on the 11th, also at 6 at the Quist Building. That's in Arlington. There's the ethics training, and that is January 23rd, 2025. There's a section at 1 o'clock and at 5:30, depending upon what you signed up for. That is at the Memorial Hall in Condon. Just want to make sure that everybody, the three of us have signed up for that.
What time was that again? 1 and 5?
It's at 1 p.m. and 5:30. You might want to check with Anya to make sure that
Okay.
I don't think he's registered.
Okay.
I think you signed me up, didn't you? Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go to County College, which the first session is in Corvallis, and it's not this weekend, the next weekend. So that'll be great to get going on that. We do need to talk about, and I probably should have moved this up on the agenda. I just need to know if anybody's interested in the Association of Oregon Counties Legislative Committee. We did some outreach with the two of you to see if neither one of you are not interested, I would do it, but it's just putting our name in. There would be a vetting process or a way of determining who are ultimate committee members. Either of you?
I guess myself right now, I'm just a little pressed, but
Trying to figure out
Yeah.
your job and.
yeah, I'm not sure with Commissioner
Okay.
Watkins.
Is it all of their committees they're looking for,
Legislative,
all their steering committees
just
or?
legislative,
Oh, okay.
yes. Correct.
Twice a quarter, it's like,
Mhm.
like one to two times a quarter. is when-
Okay,
And you can meet virtually if you need to.
okay. I'll look at doing that.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, other things that have gone on are, I met with, Senator-elect Todd Nash yesterday, great visit. Very, very easy to talk to, very down to earth, and talked to him about housing, childcare, talked to him about fiber, talked to him about, the city of Condon's issue with their,
So he's not sworn in?
I don't think he's sworn in yet.
Okay.
I don't think, it's close, if not. Yeah, I talked to him about the, road funding, transportation funding, the ODOT facility here in Condon, retaining that. Our projects, our wind energy, how waste management ties into Gilliam County, just a little bit of how it worked, and listened to him about his ideas. Also met today with, Baron Andrus, who is Cliff Bence's, field rep. He came in today, met with him and talked to him about some federal issues and how the change in administration is going to flow, and some things for us to watch for and maybe anticipate. The waste management conditional use permit, host fee agreement is a year out.
Ask you another. You walked off.
Is a year out. And so we need to start talking about that. And
There it is.
Paul Wilson we're working on dates right now with waste management. And we will have Stephanie Case, who's our planner, involved in the conditional use application side. We'll work with waste management on renegotiating the host fee agreement. So
That expires at the end of the year.
the end of 25, yes. The staff was provided a budget training information, online virtual, which will help them. Lots of turnover, and it's good for them to know how the budget process works. We have interim, well, it's interim DA, Dan Wendell, and he is serving us through the Attorney General's office until the governor appoints a district attorney. So he's coming here every week. The audit was extended, and that's going to be done soon. The Cassell conversion is going well. Not gonna put you on the spot, Brooklyn, at all, but she's working on it, and it's going good for our county system. And I think that's all. Anything else? Okay, all right, that's all I have. All right, no further business. The meeting is adjourned.